Welcome to the Hello Hornets podcast, an official podcast of the Mansfield Public Schools. In this episode, we speak with Robinson Elementary School Principal Dr. Kerri Sankey, who speaks about what's new and exciting at the school this year, ways the school connects with the Robinson community, and much more. You can listen to all the episodes in the series by visiting mansfieldschoolnews.com/podcast or by following the Mansfield Public Schools on Facebook or Twitter. Dr. Kerri Sankey, principal of the Robinson School, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Do you want to just start by talking a little bit about what your role is and what your background in the district?
Sure. So I have been here in the district for 30 years. One thing that people might not know about me is that I actually student taught at the Robinson Elementary School back in 1991. And I had the fantastic opportunity to then join the staff at the Jordan Elementary School shortly after it opened as a brand new school. It was the Jordan and the Jackson School back then. So I taught at the Jordan School. And then, through the years, I went from the Jordan School as a visual arts teacher over to the Qualters Middle School, and then shortly thereafter took on the role of the department chair for visual and performing arts for K-12 here in the district. And I was in that position for a couple of years and then had the opportunity to move into straight administration. So I started as an assistant principal, and I was at the high school my first year, and then at the Qualters Middle School for 8 years while I completed my PhD at Lesley University, and then had the opportunity to come back to the Robinson Elementary School. And so I am starting my 7th year as principal at Robinson, and I'm very, very excited, and I'm excited to be back where I started, and I love my job working with our district's 5 to 7 year olds.
So you've done a little bit of everything in the district. You've probably seen it all. What sorts of things are you most looking forward to for this coming year?
I've seen lots and lots of things over the years, and yes, I am very excited this year about our new teachers that are joining us. This year, we have 3 brand new first grade teachers. I'm really excited to welcome them on board. Our population seems to be increasing. We have 13 first grade classrooms this year. So the 3 new first grade teachers, we have Miss Kristen Kerri, we have Miss Georgiana Bullock, and we have Miss Heather Russo. So I'm thrilled to be working with them. In addition, we also have, for the first time since I've been at the Robinson School, we have our own dedicated library assistant. So we have Mrs. Beth McGlone, who is going to be taking on that role, and I'll be excited to have her there, and she's going to be able to work with students once a week instead of once every other week like we had previously. So that's exciting. And then we also recently renovated our West office, and we have a new office assistant who is working in the West office with us. Mrs. Amy Freer is replacing Mrs. Kathy Fasoli, who retired in the spring. So those are some exciting things with regards to staffing. And then in terms of curriculum and instruction, I'm really excited that this year we will have all of our teachers and staff returning to the classroom on September 1st. So that is really exciting, especially after all of the challenges that we faced last year and the different models that we had to roll out for students being in the school. So having everybody back in the building is going to be really wonderful. And I'm thinking of it sort of as a reset year. It's interesting because while we're bringing on new staff, I've had lots of opportunities to talk with my staff that I've been working with over the past 6 years rather. And, there's sort of a lot of mixed feelings going on about how people are feeling right now. I think, people are excited for the most part, but some staff are also a little bit nervous and a little bit anxious about, getting back into the classroom. So I'm looking at this year as a reset. And first and foremost, making good connections with our children is always a top priority. So I always remind my teachers at the very beginning of the year to take the time at the beginning to really work on establishing those connections with each child in their classroom, making sure that they're getting to know their children, getting to know the families that they're working with, and establishing routines and expectations. That is really, really important, especially important this year since all of our students will be returning. So from there, we will be also doing some professional development, some intensive professional development focused on literacy, which I'm really excited about. About 3 years ago, we implemented a brand new core literacy program. It's called Journeys, and that program offers a buffet of different instructional materials. And so one of the things that I had always been thinking in the back of my mind was that I wanted to provide some really high quality professional development that would deepen teachers' knowledge base around literacy instruction. So we've just been approved to work with some outside consultants. The group is called Keys to Literacy, and we're going to be working with them for the next 3 years on primarily the science of reading. And we will be delving into how and why students learn to read. We'll be looking at phonemic awareness. We'll be looking at phonics. And those are the topics that we're going to cover this year. And then going forward into the next couple of years, we're going to be looking more deeply into aspects of literacy, such as comprehension, vocabulary, and also some strategies for working with struggling readers. So those are some of the curriculum and instruction pieces that I'm really excited about. And then the last thing that I want to mention with regard to exciting things for this year, I'm really excited that we will be having some new devices, new technology devices in our classrooms this year. Because COVID sort of moved our technology plan in the district further ahead, unexpectedly, because we needed to get devices into the hands of students and teachers more quickly than we could have anticipated prior to the pandemic. What that has allowed us to do is to move forward on getting a set of 5 Chromebook tablets, touchscreen tablets, into kindergarten classrooms. We are also going to get a bucket of 5 touchscreen Chromebooks into first grade classrooms, and then 1 bucket of Chromebook tablets, just straight up Chromebook tablets, into the classrooms for second grade. So that is a really exciting piece as well.
And you mentioned, the relationship that you guys have with students. I would imagine that a lot of that, you need to have buy-in from the parents and, the greater school community. Mm-hmm. What sorts of relationships do you have at that level?
So sure. So in terms of, our work with the community, we have a counseling team in my building. We have 2 school psychologists and an adjustment counselor who work really in depth with our classroom teachers and with our families. And we really are always looking at our attendance data. We're looking at our anecdotal data from classroom teachers when needs arise. And we are able to work in partnership with our classroom teachers and also our counseling staff to reach out to those families when there are some in-depth needs. And we sort of foster that communication. We will invite families in for meetings and work with them to help strategize ways to support their students here in the classroom. And then in terms of just building relationships with families, one of the things that we do at the Robinson School is we send out a weekly Robinson newsletter to families to let them know what's going on. We have different events that happen throughout the school year that are sponsored through our MISA, which is the parent-teacher organization. They sponsor a lot of fun events for kids. So myself and my assistant principal, Mr. Gentili, we make sure that we're very visible and that we are in attendance at those events. We like to always make ourselves available to families whenever they have a need. And we welcome families to email us at any time they have a need, and we are very responsive. We always make sure that we get right back to them. We want them to know that we have an open door and that they know that if there is something that they need us to attend to, that we will take care of it and we will get right back to them. So I think that goes a long way with building relationships with our families.
And you mentioned getting technology in the hands of your youngest students, getting tablets and Chromebooks as early as kindergarten and first grade. How do you balance getting technology into the classrooms at such an early age with the other things that students need, such as, playtime and social interaction and things like that?
Yeah, so I think it is important to start early, but we do want to make it clear that, while we do have the technology in classrooms, we believe that nothing really takes the place of children having interaction with one another, and that social piece of children interacting with one another is first and foremost. At the kindergarten age level, play is considered a huge piece, and it's very, very important for children's development at that age, and really up through first and second grade. I mean, our children love to interact with one another. We love to do group activities in the classroom where they're working with a partner or with a couple of other partners. And we would never have technology, interfere with that. We like to kind of use technology as a tool in the classroom for just a very small part of the day. But really, it's those social interactions with having the children working together and working with the teacher that are so important.
Well, as we wrap up, is there any last message you wanted to give to the school community for this year?
Sure. I think that just letting all of our Robinson families know that we are really excited to welcome everyone back, and we will be in communication with them, as we always are, and that we hope everyone has a great year with this reset year, and that if anybody needs anything at any time, just to reach out to our offices or email myself or Mr. Gentili directly, and we will help you get through whatever it is that you need support with. And we thank you.
Well, thank you, and good luck for this year.
All right, thanks so much.